make a video, she says. All right. I've got some cards that I pulled. Full moon is coming up. So we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, and the Hermit in reverse. We have clarifying the Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Swords in reverse. So I've been seeing a lot of videos. I watched a couple of videos. I try not to watch too many tarot videos lately because personally, I just don't care anymore. Not that I don't care, but someone was talking about, are you experiencing non-attachment? And what it is I got to the point of reaching non-attachment or spiritual union, which is why I deleted my channel. I had gotten to the point of where I've reached union in the 5D. And so I'm in this point of like non-attachment, because when I got to the point of deleting my channel, I was about at union. And so I deleted my channel because I was so tired of all of the energy surrounding my channel that there was a lot of people who were holding on to my energy on that channel that were not good. And so I started again. I mean, I'm still single. Like, I'm not in physical union. And some people are like, well, you have to be in physical union. And I'm like, well, okay. Okay. But I'm in a not attached state lately. Clarifying the Three of Cups, we have in the present, we have death in reverse. What does that death in reverse mean? What do you mean by death in reverse? Yeah, it's that state of non-attachment. We have the Page of Cups also clarifying. No longer seeking out, giving other people my emotional attention. It's like, or not seeking out emotional fulfillment from vapid things, or from, I'm not getting emotional fulfillment from things that are, like, I feel fulfilled in a lot of things that I'm doing. Give me one more card. Yeah, I'm not giving my energy to a lot of people and situations anymore. I'm just allowing that Three of Cups situation, that I'm in a harmony with myself, and you could be here too. If you're listening to this reading, you're resonating with me on a certain level. If you're not at this level, you're about to come into this level. I bought some flowers and I just smell roses. I have roses all over my scent. It's a beautiful smell. They're like budding and perfect and beautiful and luscious and wonderful. But if you're resonating with this reading, if you've come here and you're watching this video and you're on the same level as I am, there's a sense of feeling at peace with yourself. We have the Hermit in reverse, which does talk about going out into the world and experiencing things. Either getting into a relationship or just not being alone anymore. Clarifying it, we have the Well as well as the Four of Pentacles. So there's something about even when you go out and you're around other people, you still hold true to your values, holding true to keeping yourself grounded in a situation. I think that's something that I've been really working on, is not allowing myself to get dysregulated by other people or other things, like, because it was so easy for me to in the past get dysregulated emotionally, that people could push my buttons, and it was so easy to push those buttons, and now it's very hard to push those buttons. That I have like uninstalled programming that my family has installed, that other people have installed, as far as like what it takes to upset me. The well talks about like having the emotional resources in order to combat whatever the world hands to you, and going out into the world and being part of the world, and not worrying so much about what comes. So your twin right now, if you have a twin, or if you have a person that you're thinking about, they did something vindictive. They did some kind of betrayal, or they did something that was vindictive towards you. And they could have done it presently or in the past. And they received their karma for it. I just heard a baby cry. Because you suffered negative consequences for this action, and it blocked a lot of things. Like it keeps, I see it kind of like this like going back and forth of the scales. It's sort of like they would trigger you and you would trigger them, and it was like you both would like suffer negative consequences back and forth in this like cycle. It was almost like a seesaw effect. You know, you would go, and then you would suffer negative consequences, and then they would go and they would suffer negative consequences, and you've broken that cycle. And so what it is they keep trying to force a situation and they keep doing bad things to you, but you're not doing things to them anymore. And so, like, I don't even think that you really did that much to them to begin with. But what it was is that they are suffering negative consequences for their actions. Because what it is, they keep trying to do stuff to you, and then what it is they suffer the consequences for those actions. And they try to get you to do things back to them so that you suffer negative consequences and then it all gets put on you. And the thing about it is that you just are non-reactive. And so what it's done is where you have the Four of Pentacles upright, they have Four of Pentacles in reverse, that they have become dysregulated, that they have lost their grounding in a situation, and that they have allowed themselves to get washed away by their emotions, because we have Ace of Cups clarifying their emotional state as being the Ace of Cups in reverse, that they can't offer anything emotionally, but they're also not grounding themselves. And so the way that this Ace of Cups is on this card is that it shows somebody drowning in a cup. And so I feel like what it is that they have become so ungrounded that they are being washed away, that the universe is making them pay karmic lessons, and that it's putting things on them that are not just harsh lessons of the consequences of their actions. And so because they did certain things, they because it looks like in the past that they had kept you as kind of like an option, and that was part of like this vindictiveness, that they held you at arm's length, and that they just kind of were in this energy that treated you like you didn't matter and that you weren't worthy enough. They treated you like you were not. They didn't give the value and respect to this relationship, that they didn't give the deference to the relationship necessarily that it was worth. They did and they didn't. I think they tried, but I think that there was things that there were misgivings about the relationship. A lot of like, I don't know about this, and I'm hesitant about this, and a lot of like in and out energy and back and forth energy and wishy-washiness, and game playing, a lot of games being played. So it led to bad scenarios. And so the universe gave the Justice card and said, you're going to pay for the actions that you have done. You're going to pay for what you did. And so now it's put me in this like wishy-washy energy of like, do I really, if this person showed up today, would I really want to be with them at this point? So let's ask the cards, what if they showed up today? What would happen if they showed up today? Okay, so again, this talks about the past. Well, it's a continuation of their cards because we talk about how they treated the situation like an option and they're walking away from those options. They want to become more grounded in the situation. They want to do something about that. If they show up though, there's a sense of feeling lonely in the connection, that there's a sense of always waiting for them because they will breadcrumb the situation, sort of like leading the situation on. And again, they'll suffer consequences for that if they don't value the connection, if they don't treat the connection with the deference that it deserves. There will be consequences for that. And not from you necessarily, but just from the universe. That the universe is like, either show up or don't. Sit on the pot, shit on the pot or get off. Like, don't, if you're invested in this connection, either invest in it or don't. I'm not sure about the future, because it talks about the end of conflict and finding passion again. We have a King of Pentacles, which mirrors the King of Pentacles from the beginning of this part of the reading. So it could be that they are part of that. But it's also a female King of Pentacles because of the way that this Mystic Moments Tarot is, that it has a female King of Pentacles and also a male King of Pentacles. Hang on a sec. But like I was saying, this deck, the Mystical Moments, has a female and a male King of Pentacles. So, and it has a female on the Ace of Wands coming out of a book. So there's a sense of, will you be your own stability at the end of the conflict? Because they've left you waiting. Because clarifying that also is the Death card. And this Death card has a bared chest, like showing a rib cage and flowers coming out of the chest, and a butterfly of transformation. That it's sort of like, through this connection, finding your own peace without. We have the Nine of Wands in reverse, which talks about freeing the self from a situation. It's like changing from a situation. It's like bearing your soul to a different situation, freeing yourself from the hermit situation. Because we have in the present a hermit who is sitting on top of like a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean, and there are boats going all around. And she's fishing in the ocean, but she looks sad. And it's got Judgment, and it's got Six of Pentacles, which has like this little drips of coffee or tea that are going into cups. And it's like, that's what I'm talking about with breadcrumbing. It's like they're not just pouring you a cup of tea, they're like spoon feeding it. They're just like giving you little tastes of what you could be having, or like water torturing you or something. But we have the Judgment card with that, so they're like receiving consequences for those actions. And so it'll keep going like that, back and forth, until you find your own situation in which you are, if you're not already in that situation, coming into that situation of unity with the self. And that they don't have control over the situation anymore. Give me a final outcome card. So we have the Fool and the Seven of Cups, which talks about manifesting new beginnings. Because the Seven of Cups talks about removing a mask, unmasking in a situation. And the Fool talks about new beginnings. It could be foolhardy. There is an element of risk in new beginnings. And also removing masks. Bearing one's soul and going out on new adventures, becoming stable in yourself and moving beyond the cycles of the connection, releasing yourself from your caged prison of the twin flame connection. There is risk and danger in that, because you get, in CBT they talk about when you start to do something different, you feel if you ride a bike path, with a bike and you go down that bike path every day, that dirt path, you form like a rut in that path. So when you start to go a different direction, or you turn your bike slightly different off that path, to try to forge a new path, the bike naturally wants to go back into those old ruts. And so doing something different can feel uncomfortable. It can feel unnerving. It can be risky because the people around you may not necessarily be ready to see this new version of yourself, or be accepting of this new version of yourself, especially in twin flame relationships. They may not necessarily be ready for you to let them go or be non-attached, or to not react to the back and forth of the connection. So, or for you to date other people or talk to other people or entertain other aspects of connections that are not them. Yeah. The thing about it is, and so we have the Five of Swords in reverse. There's a sense of, and it's what I felt when I immediately turned the card over. I felt it before I turned the card over, but if they would have, they could have. If they wanted to, they could have. In the situation, at any point, if they decided, and I heard a thing tonight that said the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And this person has shown a lot of indifference in the connection, a lot of seeming indifference, that they just don't seem to care about this connection as much as you have seemed to care about this connection. And that they have coolly treated you like an option for so long. And so when you give that indifference back to them, when you finally treat them like the option that they've treated you like, it's a harsh reality, because there is risk involved with that they realize that of what they're, not even what they're missing, but it's almost like they want something now that they can't have. It's sort of like, dang, I screwed up. But why would you want to be in a connection with somebody who only chases you if you're not together? And like, especially if you get into a connection with them, they're just going to discard you. Because that's how it goes. That's how it's going to go. They're going to get in a relationship with you. They get in a cycle with you. They get bored, and then they walk away. And honestly, like, too old for that. Too old for games. I'm 40. I just turned 40. I don't need any of this garbage. I only want people who want to give me love and affection these days. Like my cat. Who has just eaten and is now settling down for his nightly nap on his cat tree. Risk and reward. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you on the next one.